Okay, welcome to the manual calibration mode demo. We're in a B-17 in the training arena, and we're at 11,000 feet on the way to a factory. We're going to try and bomb the factory. We've set up with a little bit of a crosswind. We've got a 10-knot crosswind from the east. Since we're heading north, that's going to be a direct crosswind. We're going to have to deal with that. The first thing that you want to do when you do manual calibration is get your aircraft lined up with the target. You can see that we're just slightly off a little bit to the left, but that's probably okay. The further off you are from pointing your nose directly at the target means that you're going to have to adjust your direction in the bomb site more, and it's going to cause additional errors in the calibration because the crosswind changes as you change the angle into the wind. So you want to try and get that set up as early as possible, get set directly to the target. You also want to get a speed that's stabilized, that's not at 100%. So I'm probably doing about 95% on the power right now, and I have the bomb bay doors open and the speed is pretty much stabilized. So we're going to start trying to calibrate at this point. First thing to do is hop into the bombardier station, and you can see that we're uncalibrated at this point, so we enter U to enter the calibration. Now what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to push the stick forward a little bit, not a lot, but just a little bit, and you're going to see the stick move forward, and you probably want to get about 45 degrees. So somewhere along here you can see, since we're in the training arena, there's going to be an impact point, a little green crosshair. That's where things are going to fall right now. So that means that since we're blowing left to right, the bombs are going to fall off by that much from 11,000 feet to the ground height. You won't see that in normal arenas because that's kind of a training mode. Okay, so we pushed the stick forward to about 45 degrees or so, and now what we want to do is we want to zoom in. So I'm going to zoom in here so I can get really close. We were out here, we're going to get close. We're going to try and pick a tree or something to track with the sight. You want to get something that's out directly in front of you, pretty much. I'm going to do this hedge pretty much as we come past it. Okay, I'm holding back on the stick, pressing Y, and notice I have to track both left and right and pulling back on the stick to be able to track this. Hold it for a few seconds, holding it, holding it, holding it, holding it, holding it right on the corner of that hedge. Alright, so you can see that my calibrated speed is 244. My current speed is 243. That's pretty darn close. If you get it out too far, your current speed and calibrated speed are going to be off. It won't be able to match it up as well. So you want to get it fairly close, but not too close. Alright, the next thing we need to do is we need to set our altitude, our target altitude. So I've popped up the map here. We're going to try and hit the factory here. So we want to zoom into that factory on the map, hold the shift key down, and then left click on the mouse right over the top of that factory. Notice that it sets the target altitude to 66. Okay, so that's the current target altitude, and we're going to go ahead and hit U to exit the calibration. And notice that our cursor, the black cursor, which is what we'll normally see, is very close to the impact point now. So we've done a good job of calibrating. The next thing we need to do is line the aircraft up with the target just a little bit off. And we're going to match up our calibrated speed and our current speed. Note the current speed is 243. Our calibrated speed is higher than that. That's why you don't want to calibrate at 100%. So we're going to push the throttle up a little bit so that we can try and match the current speed to the calibrated speed. Notice that my fuel remaining or my gallons per hour has gone up, and now my current speed is at 244, calibrated speed 244. We're right on track. So at this point we're just waiting to see the target come into view. And notice that if you keep the cursor tracking an object on the ground as it passes underneath you, it will calculate wind, crosswind, as well as your forward movement. So you don't have to try and offset for aiming on the crosshairs. As long as you get everything calibrated correctly, you're going to be pretty darn close. Okay, my current speed is crept up on me. We're now faster than our calibrated speed, so I'm going to pull back a little bit, and our gallons per hour is going to go down. Okay, so we're now at 518 gallons per hour, and we should see our current speed come down in just a moment. Our target is out in front of us. Should be out by about whatever the width of a dar ring is, radius of a dar ring. We should be seeing it soon. We can zoom in as soon as we get that in our sight. Start zooming in on the target. And again, as long as you don't have to make drastic changes in your direction, you should be okay with the calibration. If you need to change by more than 10-20 degrees, then your crosswind is going to be different because of the amount of angle change that you've done. So you need to keep that in mind. Alright, we're still at 245, so I'm going to pull this back a little more, back to 515 on the gallons per hour. Alright, need to line up a little better. I'm going to go ahead and overcorrect just a little bit so that I can come back on the angle. Alright, undershot on the current speed, so back up. Keep the current speed as closely aligned as you can to the calibrated speed. Alright, coming back. No, I'm not going to use the green aiming point. I'm going to use the black crosshairs, which is what you'll normally use in the arenas. Alright, back up to 244 current. Pulling back to 518. We'll see how that does. Alright, and I'm going to zoom in here so we can track a specific target. We're going to try the left-hand oil tank just at the beginning of the of this factory here. We've got salvo set to 1 and pop that off. Now we'll go to the belly turret and we'll watch what happens here. How close did we get? Not too bad. You can see that the aim point was a little bit off, and that corresponds to the error in our calibration. We'll go back to the Bombardier site to look at that. Alright, so notice that our calibration, when we were holding that cursor on a target, was off by a little bit. So you need to be very careful about where you first click to start your aim calibration and where you stop your aim calibration. So try and keep those directly over a single spot, and the closer you can keep those together over a single spot, the better that alignment's going to be. So just keep that in mind, and you should be able to end up with a good calibration. Alright, that's our demo for today. Hope this helps, and we'll see you in the arenas.